Okay, I am so excited, you guys. Thank you so much for being here today, Mindy. So we've got another coffee talk with Michelle. We're going to make things happen, you guys. I'm so excited to welcome our guest today, and she's going to share a little bit about herself and her journey. So please help me welcome Mindy Judd from Omaha, Nebraska. She is a mom of two beautiful boys, and she has just got some amazing nuggets to share with you guys. So thank you so much for being on here, Mindy. I so appreciate it.
Absolutely, my friend.
Absolutely. We're going to light it up. Okay, so let's get things started right away. So can you share a little bit of your background? So what you were doing before you got started in the digital space and what your life looked like?
Absolutely. So I did the whole college thing, followed the rules of society, went to college, got a degree, became a veterinary technician. I actually was a vet tech for 19 years and I loved it, loved it, loved it so much. But I simply couldn't afford life. Like literally after 19 years, I was still only making $19 an hour. I couldn't even afford daycare.
Wow.
So even though I loved my job, I loved taking care of my patients and educating the owners, I couldn't afford life. So I had to make the really hard decision to leave that career, which it was tough. It was tough. But I became a stay-at-home mom at the age of 38. And I loved being a stay-at-home mom. Like it was amazing. I was doing the interior things and the cooking and the cleaning and taking care of the boys and chauffeuring them around. But because I had left my career, that led into my husband working extra hours. He was chasing that overtime over the road, and that left the boys and I home for a lot of hours, a lot of time, and it wasn't the ideal family situation that I thought I would be in growing up. So
Right.
that's where I was, and being a stay-at-home mom it was awesome. I loved it, but again. I kind of took a toll here because I felt inadequate not being able to contribute to the bills. I looked online for a lot of things. Nothing seemed to actually work as well as I had hoped until I found this opportunity.
Awesome. Oh my gosh. And you're right too. It's just kind of something that fulfills you and for you to be able to contribute. And I so get that. So,
Yes,
okay, so
exactly.
what led you to discovering or move you towards the digital marketing piece? And what was that turning point for you to make that decision? So, let me rephrase this, like, how did you discover it and what made you decide to get started?
Sure. So, well, as we all do, I was scrolling social media, namely TikTok, and I came across a mom from Ohio who was literally a hot mess express. And she had three little boys. I think that's probably why I resonated with her because I had two little boys. But I resonated with her because she was literally doing this in the chaos, like in the midst of the chaos and sharing her journey, sharing her story, sharing how it was changing her life. And I knew I needed to do something. Never would I ever go back to a 9 to 5, but I knew I needed to do something. So this is when I said, you know what? I got to draw a line in the sand. I want to help contribute financially, and this is going to be how I do it. And so I got started. September 1st of 23. I'll never forget it.
Oh my gosh. So 18 months you've been in this big,
Yes.
beautiful business. I love it. And your life has completely changed.
It flipped my world upside down, my friend.
I love it. Okay. So that leads to my next question. So how has your life changed, like both personally and, in your work space, like for work freedom, personal freedom, like what has that meant for you and your family?
Oh, it's been, Michelle, it's so hard to even still 18 months later wrap my head around it. But just the freedom for me is everything. Because instead of, going to a 9 to 5, spending 8 to 10 hours a day away from my family just to barely get by, I can literally work, I say, because I use that word lightly. Um, but I get my income producing activities done in a quarter of the time that I would spend at a 9 to 5. And I can do that in the pockets of my day so I can be a present mom, have that time. My boys are really into like baseball and basketball and music programs at school and all the things. And because of this program, I can literally design my days and get my income producing activities done in the pockets where it works for me so that my family can always come first. And to me, that is freedom. That is freedom. And to be able to work in the pockets of my day and make a full-time income, I never would have imagined that that was even a possibility
Yeah.
ever. And now
Yeah.
here we are. So,
And that's so beautiful. Like that makes me so happy because I've got a son who's 28 years old. And I look back to working corporately and working 40 to 60 hours a week and being on a plane and going. You don't get that time back. And you only get 18 summers with those boys.
that's correct.
So now you have that time back and you can help other people that are in the same situation like you that want that time with their families and their freedom.
Yes.
I love it. Oh my gosh. Okay, so what was something that completely surprised you about
Mm.
this business, like in a good way, right? So maybe something that you didn't expect, but you so love it now.
So when I got into this program, I knew, first of all, I knew absolutely nothing. I didn't even know what the term digital marketing meant. And so it was a whole new world to me. Um, I knew that I would be learning marketing. I knew that I would be learning about social media, but I never expected that I would learn that it was okay to value my time. I
Right.
never expected that I would be able to determine what my time was worth instead of have somebody else determine that for me,
Mhm.
AKA when you get paid hourly, at your
Right.
9 to 5.
Right.
I now teach women how to value their time. I never expected that I would learn that. I never knew that was a part of this. But now that I have, and I can design my days around my schedule and decide what's valuable and what's not. I now teach other women how to do that as well. And so that is something I did not expect, but I'm so grateful that I was able to learn that because it's a whole new world when you own your time.
Totally. And it's like it's unexpected, but it's meant to be. Like shifts happen in your life,
Yes.
right? Because
Yes.
there's something better coming your way.
Mhm.
And that's
Exactly.
meant for you. That's so meant for you. So in closing, I have my last question for you. There's so many people out there that are just like us, that we're searching for something and they're
Yes.
scrolling and they're looking and they're struggling and they just need to find a better way. And they're looking at this. Like, what piece of advice would you give to those that are watching and watching what we're doing right now in the digital marketing space?
Sure. I personally I wish I would have found this sooner. And if I could have a wish for everybody, it would be that they would get into the digital space because there are literal millions of dollars sitting out there waiting on social media that needs to be made and handed out. And
Mhm.
there's no reason that you can't be that person too. I never, in my wildest dreams, thought that I would go from knowing absolutely nothing to now having $900 days, to now having 11 streams of income on top of the freedom that I have. And so, my one piece of advice would be stop waiting. Don't let any more time pass you by because time is all you have until you don't.
Yeah,
And when you
exactly.
don't, it's too late when you realize it. So, that
I
would be
love
my
it.
one piece of advice was just you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And the education that you will get with this program, you can take anywhere you want and write your own checks and have that freedom that you desire, that you deserve.
And you just bring up a really great point because this is a global business. Anybody in the world can do this business. And
Yes.
I'm actually going to Ireland on Monday, and I'm able to take this business with me wherever I go,
Yes.
wherever I travel, you know?
I love that.
Yes. And you are not guaranteed tomorrow because you don't know what tomorrow is going to bring, right? So
Mhm.
the time is now to invest in yourself and just to get started and start building your dream rather than somebody else's.
Amen, my friend.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for taking, I know you're super busy, so I want to thank you for myself and those that are watching, just to thank you so much for pouring into everybody today. And I just so appreciate you and appreciate your time.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for having me, Michelle. I loved being here with
Absolutely.
you.
Okay, so anybody that's watching here today, you can get in touch with Mindy or myself if you want to get your questions answered. We are here to support you and to add value to you and your families. So don't hesitate to reach out. And thank you again for coming on today.
Yes. Bye, guys.